Define junk miles in cycling. Sorry about that.
Junk miles can be defined as cycling that has little or no training benefit and only serve to build fatigue. One of the most common ways that riders inadvertently accumulate junk miles is to ride at an intensity that's neither easy enough to sustain to build true endurance, nor hard enough to stimulate adaptations such as
You get the point. I disagree, but not really, because if that were my only definition for junk miles, then this is junk miles.
Fly so high, I'm hypnotized. What's up is down, what's left is right. Chasing stars and holding you. I can't see the end, but we'll see it through.
Took a stop to enjoy the view. From a pure training perspective, probably don't want to stop. But I'm not training today. Let's go over there. It's a pretty steep downhill, I think. Alright, rocky. Whoop, super. Oh yeah. Woo!
On top of the world. Dangerous times, don't fly too high. Be sure to keep the ground in sight. Fly forever if you keep it tight.
There's this idea that junk miles, they only apply to somebody who's trying to train on the bike. And to some degree, that is correct. Junk miles, they don't contribute to training. But to me, junk miles is when you're just logging in distance or meters just for the sake of having that number. And you know, don't get me wrong, we've all been there. I remember the first time I did a 100-kilometer ride, I reached home and I think I lacked like 3 kilometers to get to 100 kilometers. And you know what I did? I went out of my house, I circled the block a couple of times, and I got to 100 kilometers on the dot, and then I went back home. Just doing that is not very fun. Not very fun for me. And I remember I used to do the Strava challenges, and don't get me wrong, doing the Strava challenges can make you really strong. It can make you a really strong cyclist if you do it correctly. And it came to the point where I was just cycling to reach a number, and I wouldn't be able to do routes like what I did just now that were mostly off-road, super fun, but they do not reflect well on Strava in a sense of that the distance is going to be low because those are not super fast rides, and then the elevation gain is not going to be very high because it's really just a little up down up down up down up down. You're not really accumulating that much elevation. So junk miles to me, it's just like cycling for a number. And if I really wanted to do that, then I would just bike on the trainer all day. Cycling is supposed to be fun. Let's do something fun.
Love the world and keep the sky on your mind.
Go into the unknown. Not really unknown. I've been here before.
We're soaring on top of the world.
Definitely not much training adaptation happening right now. Right, now that we're home, we're gonna make some coffee. And of course, this video is sponsored by Curve Coffee Collaborators. So I am happy to be using the Curve coffee beans. This is the Rogelio Gonzalez coffee beans. This is one of their PCQC award-winning batch of coffee beans. So I am excited to give it a try. The nice thing with Curve is that their coffees are named after the farmers who farm them. They really believe in this whole thing. They call it, in fact, it's in their packaging, circle of inclusiveness, where everybody who has everything to do with the coffee is treated fairly, and from the farmer to the roaster to the baristas, that whole supply line, it's important to Curve that everybody in that line is treated fairly, and in the long run, that's what's gonna make Philippine coffee have longevity right now. Okay, we are in the right temperature. I usually stand when I do this. So if you head over to their website, curve.coffee, you can see a lot of the PCQC award-winning beans over there. So visit the website and try out the beans. Alright, I wish I could tell you I had that skill of being able to tell what notes I'm tasting, but honestly I don't have that ability. My ability when tasting coffee is either I like it or I don't. And I'm liking this one. Right, thank you Curve for sponsoring this episode. Cheers. So if you've been watching the vlog, you already know that my wife is pregnant and we are expecting a baby. And that baby is about to come anytime soon. So, we're very excited for the baby. But that also means that my time on the bike has to go down. Like right now, my wife could give birth at any time. I mean, I'll sneak in a ride every now and then, but as much as possible, I will stay home. So that means my volume for the cycling has gone down, which also means obviously that I haven't been training. Right now, I'm just optimizing for fun on the bike. And if I were training, admittedly, the fun on the bike stuff would look like jump miles. It is literally what my cell phone described. It's not easy enough to have adaptations for endurance. Is that what it said? Or hard enough to have adaptations for like high intensity efforts. It's just but you know what? That's where it's fun. And if I have motivation to bike, that just means I'm going to be able to bike more once the schedule frees up. Okay, good vibes. Alright, I gotta admit though, leaving this camera here to shoot B-roll is definitely junk miles.
Flying.